But we're still not at a place where we're allowed to recreationally play disabled sport.
Yeah. There's nothing worse than going to like a hotel and you spend a load of money to go to this hotel and then you get taken in the back door past the bins.
I can go on the track and break a world record, but I can't even get up a ramp.
Hannah Cockroft and Nathan Maguire are the power couple for Paralympic sport. Nathan sustained a spinal cord injury age 8 due to transverse myelitis. His wife Hannah Cockroft, disabled shortly after birth due to brain injury, is a 5 times world record holder. Both accomplished sports people with Paralympic medals, they met just after the 2012 London Paralympics. Having competed together, Nathan proposed after the Tokyo Games and they were married shortly after the Paris 2024 closing ceremony. What lies beneath their successful partnership and what are the challenges they both face off the track?
But both lifelong disabilities, pretty much lifelong. Obviously, born with 24 hours having a condition, and then inflammation when you. What did you say you were saying?
I was 8 years old.
8 years old. I mean, that's as you say, it's probably tougher on your parents, but growing up then with the expectations of what a disabled person can achieve or will achieve, or and all that is thrust upon people. I know when I had my injury and the first thing people said to me is, "Oh, you'll be a Paralympian." I was like, "Oh, is it that easy? I didn't realise." "Oh, fantastic. Where do I sign up?" Yeah. No, I'm still trying. And he still say to me this day and age, I was like, "No, I tried, I failed. Thanks for reminding me. It's brilliant." But you guys, obviously, probably 20 odd years ago now since injuries, and you did follow that pathway. I mean, how's that journey been?
I think we come from it differently because you found sport later, whereas I kind of got pushed into it straight away. But I think the automatic response is when you have a child that has an injury is, I'm going to hug you, I'm going to protect you. But actually, in a way, by pushing me into sport, that was the best way of protecting me. And I think because I was a sporty kid, it was more my dad, I think, was saying, no, he needs to do sport because he was doing it before. So he's the same as he was then, just sat down, not stood up. I think that's the main thing, isn't it? Is that you're still the same person and you might go about things differently, but they have the same outcome, doesn't it? Sport is the same whether you sat down, stood up, running with one leg. It's all the same, isn't it? We're just having fun. So I think it's it. And then for you, I think you were never mollycoddled, were you? You were like no. Thrown here and thrown there, but to make sure that you had the same opportunities as your brother, and your 2 brothers, weren't they?
I think ultimately, yeah. Because I was 12, sport was my decision. And it was, I want to do this. So it was. Mum and dad I was that annoying kid that did everything. I learned to play the violin. I sang in a choir. I had swimming lessons. I went to Brownies. I went to different after-school club every single day. I was that child. But none of them were ever, outside of swimming, which actually was just a really clever way for my parents to get me to do some physio. They were very good at that. I did dance lessons, which was mostly stretching on a mat in the corner, physiotherapy. They were very clever at doing that and working that into my life. But yeah, the sport was what I wanted to do. I was the one who went home from school and was like, this was amazing. Find the club, get me involved. And I think after that, I was really lucky with the people that I met through sport. My first coach, a guy called Malcolm Keelty, he was the guy who came to the school, did the demo. Mum and dad contacted him and he was just like, yeah, if you want, I'll pick Hannah up, take her to training, bring her home. What do you need? Tell me. He got me a basketball chair. He got me funding for my own basketball chair. He took me to matches. He just made it happen. And then through him, he was like, oh, this is a tennis coach. Try tennis. This is, you can be doing this at your local athletics club. So I actually started athletics as a discus thrower. And I think a lot of it is down to, once you or your parents have opened that door into sport, there are some incredible volunteers who they want to change your life. They want to show you how amazing sport is. And they also understand that, I started with basketball and I eventually found myself in racing when I was 15. They know that not everyone's going to stick. As a kid, every kid runs around and starts with football, but then actually decide they want to be a gymnast or they want to be a diver or whatever. Just because you're disabled doesn't mean you have to do sport. Doesn't mean you have to be a Paralympian. Doesn't mean you have to stick to the sport that you first try. Volunteers are so good at signposting you to other options.
Every person that I speak to with a spinal cord injury or any kind of disability, has that one person that was quite influential. So for you, it was Malcolm. For me, it was Josie Tchaikovsky. She was the wheelchair basketball coach at the Manchester Mavericks, and she was the first disabled person that I ever met. And you know, she wasn't young, but she was zipping around a basketball court, and then it kind of, you find out about what the Paralympics was, and for me then it was that thing of opening that door. So I always remember the 5th of January in 2006 was when I found out about the Paralympic Games, and I said on that day when I was 8 years old, I'm going to be a Paralympian one day. But that's just through meeting that one person. And then it opens up the doors, because there was people that played for the junior league team that were doing other sports, and I would go along and I would know that one person there, and then that would open a door to me to try swimming or try rowing, and I did water skiing. I've just tried so many different things, but it all comes through that kind of breakthrough sport that for us was wheelchair basketball.
I mean, I've always found sports such an opening into so many things in life, and obviously the fitness, the different disciplines, whatever it's going to go into. But one of the most important things was that peer element, meeting other people who were living with their conditions, and it was always, they can put all their worries and their woes aside, because right now we're competing against each other, whether it's training or competition. But it also led you to each other. Tell us, how did you meet, and who fell for who first?
Depends who you ask.
Well, I'm asking you both, so we're going to hear both sides of it here.
Well, I knew of Hannah, obviously. Like, I've known of Hannah for a long time. We got a really cool picture, haven't we? Where it's it was in
it's cool or cringy.
Well, there's two.
Way.
So it's in 2012. So I didn't compete in 2012, but Hannah did compete. And there's a picture of me outside of the stadium when Hannah just won her first gold medal, and I'm outside of it. It's literally like time-stamped on Facebook, isn't it? To be literally the exact moment that Hannah crossed the finish line. And I'm outside, this little 14-year-old, like with my thumbs up outside the stadium, thinking it's the best thing ever that I've come to watch the Paralympics. And you were in the stadium, weren't you?
Of course.
And then I think the next time we met was I just started.
No, you're making that sound weird now. That I was 20 when I won the first gold. I wasn't chasing a 14-year-old.
We're not to judge.
Yeah, no judgment.
No, I'm not
we
weird.
don't judge.
No, and then I think obviously we kind of seen each other, because I started wheelchair racing when I was 15. So just after London was kind of when I started wheelchair racing. So I'd see you at like competitions and stuff, and you kind of knew of me, didn't you?
No.
Oh, let's see. I'd like to think she knew
You
of
know
me and
you
knew
are.
exactly who I
We're
was.
telling your story right now. It's okay.
Yeah, this is my side.
Sorry.
And then I think the first time we actually spoke was I was at like a youth sport trust did like a talent day, and they did like you could go and ask questions to Paralympians. So it was Hannah and Katrina Johnson-Thompson had come to do like ask questions to them, and I've got a picture after that Q&A of Hannah signing an autograph for me.
I'd like to clarify. Number one, I don't remember this moment.
It was youth sport trust, but I was 20, so we're all right. You know, I wasn't really young.
Number two, he didn't even keep the autograph. How rude is
What?
that?
That's what I was asking. Is it not framed on your mantelpiece?
That's rude, isn't it? I'd like to see what my autograph looked like back then, actually.
He sold it on eBay, really.
He didn't. He definitely put it in
I had to pay somebody else to buy it.
I think we properly met training for Rio in 2016.
Yeah, I think that's when I kind of started. I race against Hannah's old training partner. So we kind of, to train with the next fastest person in the country was Richard Kiyosara, which was Hannah's training partner. So I would then kind of tag on with her sessions to be able to train, and that's kind of how we got to know each other a bit more, didn't we?
Yeah, and then Nathan just didn't leave me alone. I still won't. I don't know where I went wrong.
Still hanging around.
You can wear them down, don't you worry.
Eventually they'll say yes.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
For marriage, that's it, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was it really, wasn't it? Just you became part of my training group, friendship group, and
Yeah.
I suppose you just end up spending so much time together, and especially in a Paralympic year. Literally going into Rio, we competed in Australia, we competed in Dubai,
Yeah.
we competed in Switzerland, we
Yeah,
competed
all over the
in-
world, wasn't it?
Yeah, you do a lot of travelling, a lot of competing to qualify.
Yeah. What's that like when you're doing all of that travelling? Because travelling is exhausting at the best of time, and then you've got to go and be on your A game. Like, how do you manage that? Because I'm not a sporty person.
We love it, don't we? We kind of thrive off that travel, don't we? I think for us, it's a lot easier than a lot of other sports people, because when we go somewhere, we go together. We're not having to leave one of us at home. We're not having that kind of split family dynamic. We're just home, but in Dubai, or we're home in Australia, or wherever we're competing, aren't we? So it makes it a lot easier that way. But we just love it, don't we? We just love we do our sport because we love it, and I think that's the thing we always say is the minute we're not loving it, we're not going to do it anymore, because why would you do something you don't love? But for us at the moment, sport is just the best thing, isn't it?
We get to go up and we train together like 3 days a week. And then the other times we're split. We've got different coaches. So I go to my coach and Nif goes to his. So we kind of have that time apart, but we have a lot of time together. And I think there's an understanding between us of how important what we do is to us that I've definitely never had with a partner that's not an athlete. So I think it just makes it easier, because you don't have to explain it. You just go, I need to, look, we need to spend a bit of money and go to this competition. And you're like, yep, understand.
Yeah, can I come? Yeah, it's great. Yeah,
I need to race against this person. I need to train with this person. And, I think it's made both of us better athletes.
Definitely.
Like, Nathan's always been faster than me. Obviously, difference in classification, obviously different genders. So I've learnt a lot from Nathan, because there are things that he can do in the chair that I couldn't, and I've learnt how to do. But I think for you, it's almost been that experience side that I can pass on.
Yeah, I can ask like questions of Hannah around, like competition etiquette and things like that she's been there and done it, and about managing expectation and all those kind of things, isn't it? That you kind of learn throughout your career, and if you're having to learn it on your own, you come to it later. Whereas I can just ask Hannah. She's
and you find both being elite athletes that when you're away from the track, you're in your own personal space, that you can read each other even better, because you know that either someone's getting mentally prepared for something, or they're coming up to an event or a race, or and they're not going down the pathway that they normally are, and they're drifting off, and you can pull them back. I mean, how does that dynamic work?
Yeah, I think we know each other inside out, don't we? Yeah. So like, even I can be doing my training, for example, and Nath will just be like, I don't think you're doing the right training. I don't think your session is right for where we're at in the season. I think this is what you need to be doing. And I think my training inside out enough that
I can look at Hannah on a day and I can say, you don't need to be doing that today, you need to be doing this, and let's talk to your coach and have those conversations. And as well, it's not just around that, it's the mental side of it as well. And I can say, right, I'm racing. Like, so for example, at the World Championships, there was a day where Hannah was racing at 8 o'clock at night, but I had to race the next morning. All I wanted to do was go and watch Hannah. And I know how much it means to her, but then she's the one that told me not to come.
I went to all Nathan's races. I was there in person, just by the record.
You're just getting out the record there, yeah.
All my races were in the morning, and she had lots of time to get up and watch it. But I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like, we just know each other inside out and know what the other person needs, and I don't know, it just works, doesn't it?
We're quite lucky now, aren't we, that now we're married. So there's a rule in the GB team that males and females can't share a room, which was just a pain in the bum, to be honest. Like, we lived together and we had to share rooms with other people, and it's part of being an athlete, but I think we're so used to obviously sharing everything that then you kind of had to go to different bedrooms, and it was a bit like,
good night.
It was brought
weird.
One toothpaste. What was all going on?
Yeah, there was one competition where I had to keep going every morning and getting some toothpaste on my toothbrush because I didn't pack any, because I was like, well, Hannah will pack it. And then we got there and we had to be in separate rooms, but yeah.
Now we're allowed to share because we're married, so it helps quite a lot. But it helps because I've had it in the past where I've had to share with a girl that I'm racing against, so she didn't go to bed till like 3 o'clock in the morning because she knew that she could race on no sleep and I really couldn't. Whereas I know that Nathan is a nervous wreck. Like, the night before a race, he is just he does this annoying breathing thing, like kind of falls asleep going. It's so annoying. But I know that he's going to do that.
You can share a room with someone else now, that. It's not forced.
Whereas I think, I'm pretty laid back, don't you? Like, just need to sleep well and get up and I need people to act really normally around me to just get on with what I'm doing. Whereas, you're quite a nervous.
I'm a nervous racer, yeah.
What's it like, though, if you're building up to this big event and you've both got your own individual goals, you've both got your collective goal? I can only imagine that it must get a bit tense. How do you manage that between yourselves and, like, resist the biting at each other, perhaps, or something?
I'm quite a laid-back person. Like, I'm one of them, everything will be all right. It's going to be fine. We'll work it out. It's all right. Whereas you're very, I need to do this. She likes a list. And,
I'm very organised. So Nathan's
so maybe that's why, because
Nathan's
I say...
so laid back because he knows that I've packed 20 spare tyres.
Yeah, because you've got it sorted.
Any.
I think that might be it. But I think I'm that kind of laid back person that'll just be like, yeah, it's fine. We'll work it out. So we don't have arguments because I don't let her have an argument because I don't need an argument.
Yeah, I think you know that I'll be hyper organised, and I know that you won't think of anything until the day before.
Well, it always gets
probably
done.
until you get there. I've had texts in the past. Han, get on a bus now. I've forgotten my helmet. And I've got to get his helmet to him before he races. I'm like,
you've got half an hour. Get it
Nathan,
in now.
are you joking?
But if you don't argue, are you still managing unspoken tension then? If he's not giving you an argument?
No. I'll just.
She'll just talk to me and she'll just say it.
I'll just say what I'm thinking. I'm sometimes a little bit brutal, but it's fine.
It doesn't bother me. I'm just, yeah.
What about after the competition, when everything starts quietening down and you don't have that same level of focus? Like, what is life like then in between?
Oh,
Actually, coming
so
out,
nice.
you like it. Actually, coming out of a competition, I struggle a little bit with what next? It's always that what next as an athlete. You come home from a competition and you got like a medal in your hand. It goes in a drawer and you go, right, next year, what are we doing? Straight away, isn't it?
I think it's a difficult one, isn't it? Obviously, our success is... What's success for each of us is very different.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, if I win anything that's not gold, then that's not a successful champs for me because I'm expected to win.
You're the
gold.
one to beat, aren't you?
Yeah, that's what's expected. I'm world champion, Paralympic champion, world record holder. That target's on my back when I line up. Whereas in your races, it could be anybody.
Yeah,
it could
there's
be
eight men on the start line,
men.
and every one of them has won a medal in the past. So it's that kind of thing of success for me. Actually, at the Worlds, beyond success was a bronze medal. But then for you, if you won a bronze medal, everyone would be like, oh my god, what's wrong? Like,
It's a lot of pressure to live with that.
Yeah, it is a lot.
you do struggle with that a little bit, don't you? Sometimes.
I think, yeah, I struggle with the pressure a little. It's a very privileged place to be in, and that's what I try and tell myself. Like, wow, what a privilege it is that everyone's watching you, everyone wants to beat you, because it does give you a level of control that I don't think anybody else has. Like, for example, in Nathan's races, there's a guy called Marcel Hug, a Swiss racer who
He's phenomenal.
He is just an incredible athlete. He's not unbeatable. Like, Nathan beat him at the World Championships, but people line up, and if Marcel's in that race, they will just follow him.
All eyes are on him.
Yeah, what's Marcel going to do? What's Marcel's next move? And you've all, like, every man in the world has had to pull themselves out of this almost trance. Yeah. Whereas I still have that control on my girls. They're watching me, like, to the point where, I think it was the World Champs in 2019, we're out in Dubai, and it was the first race that I lined up for, not as the world record holder, but still in the call room. So the first call room for, like, whatever it was, 400 maybe, I went in and I took like a bag in the call room, and I had like a stretching band in it, and I had some hair bubbles so I could do my hair, and I had some sweets, and I was just doing stuff all the time because you sat in the call room for like maybe half an hour, 40 minutes. So I just kept busy, and every other girl just came in empty-handed and just they just watched me for a good 40 minutes just messing about. The next call room, like 3 days later, I went in empty-handed. Every other girl took a bag with sweets, hair bubbles, and they were all they were all like, but they were like, oh, that bag's why she won, and I was like, the bag's not why I won. Like, I just love playing little games because you know that, like in Paris, didn't I? I had it was a Japanese girl, and she did my entire warm up 20 meters behind me. Just everything I did, her. She just did exactly the same.
Because she thought that was the secret.
Behind.
It wasn't all the training that I had her done beforehand. It was that warm up.
And it's really bizarre. Like, I've learned to find it quite funny, but at the start I was a bit like, this is weird. Why are they copying me? But it is. It's such a privilege, and you kind of sit on the start line and you're like, wow, what a place to be. And I try and remind myself of that. But yeah, it is tough. But I think the tougher bit for me is I can come off and people are like, yeah, you won gold, nice. Nath will win a bronze, and the whole team's going absolutely insane, and you're like, hang on a sec, you just won 3 gold medals.
Yeah, I think it shows who they like more. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
But no, we've had experiences before as well, where you've had a really successful championships for you, and I've not had
as much
what I wanted. And I think that was quite a difficult one to navigate, wasn't it? Because it's trying to find that balance between celebrating the success, but also like almost grieving the the thing that you weren't that happy about, and trying to find your way around that. And I think that's
and I think that's the thing,
isn't it?
And I think what actually happened with that, wasn't it? It was I had to navigate my excitement as well to tailor it to Hannah. So we kind of brought each other. I brought her up, and she brought me down, and we were kind of then on a right. Well, we've had that success, but what do we do to make things better? And it wasn't it. And
I think the nice thing is we can come out of every championships and whatever happens, success or not as much success as you hoped, we always sit down, don't we, and we say, right, this is what I think you did well this year, this is what I think I did well, this is what I think we could improve on, or you could improve on, or whatever. And it's nice to have that other person who understands exactly every situation you were in. You know, they were you know, competing at the same events, they were in the same hotel, had the same food, everything was the same. It's good to have someone there that completely understands what happened and why it happened, and then how you managed it, and then how we can kind of work back and make sure that never happens again.
It's like that peer review at the end of the season every year. Like we get at the end of every competition, don't we? Before we even speak to our coaches, we speak to each other.
Yeah, always got the debrief.
Yeah, and I think that.
But yeah, we're really bad at coming back and resting, then, aren't we?
Yeah, we
are very much both people who go, right, excellent, world champs finished, what's next?
So that downtime, do you not enjoy it, or do you not what's your hobbies outside of sport?
When people ask us what our hobbies are, we do a hobby as a job.
Yeah.
They do say if you love your job, you never work a day in your life.
That's what's really hard is, you know, our hobby is going to training every day, and we're just really lucky that we get to do that and just have fun and
we miss it when we're not there. But also I think it's so hard to have that downtime, because that downtime, realistically, outside of a Paralympic year, that 2 weeks you get off after a World Championships is when the media are interested in what you're doing. So actually in those 2 weeks you're like, right, I've got to get all the appearances, I've got to get as much media as I can around this, so that eyes are on it, so that it's been like noted that this has happened before everyone forgets that the World Championships has been. Obviously after the Paralympics people have tuned in, and kind of the buzz carries on for a little bit longer, but there almost isn't a time to switch off, is there? Because you have to soak up those moments to then, you know, we're lucky enough to get lottery funding, but when Nathan's race chair costs £30,000, we've got to top that up from somewhere.
Yeah,
so you've got to get those extra jobs in that you've got to do in those 2 weeks while people are going, we want her to come and speak at our event because she's just become world champion.
I think as a para-athlete, I think that's where it differs between para and able-bodied sport. As a para-athlete, you have to be an advocate for yourself and the sport and disability, whereas as an Olympian, they just have to be an advocate for themselves. That's it. So you have to kind of look at it more abstractly, don't you, and go, well, if I go and do this event, that might mean that another 1,000 people watch, and then of them 1,000 people, there might be somebody that might want to sponsor para sport in general, not just you, and that then helps that it grow and grow and grow.
Or even just someone might see it that's never seen Paralympic sport, and it might be the one person who needs inspiring.
Needs to see it.
They need to see it. They need to know that that's available to them, and then they can come along. Like, you work with another charity, a children's charity, don't you? And you've brought so many kids along to our club to try wheelchair racing.
Yeah.
Who otherwise, without meeting Nathan through a sports event that they went to with school, would have no idea that this world even existed. So we kind of have this whole sphere of things that we have to be considerate of. You know, we have to reach out to the kids that aren't getting the opportunities, the people that were me growing up.
They're the Paralympians of the future. Without them,
meet them,
there's nothing, is there?
I want to get far enough for them, but you've also got to make the money, and you've got to keep the eyes on the sport, and you've got to live life as well.
There's so many hands in so many different pockets.
But the Paralympics comes around every 4 years, and you get that 2 week, spotlight, and the entire world gets behind it, and then unfortunately, it just doesn't linger. Do you think society really understands how hard it is to be a Paralympian and beyond the sport with a disability? The effort that goes into it. I mean, I live with a disability, spinal cord injury. I play sports at weekend. That's hard enough. I'm not as superhuman as you've been people been branded in the past.
Yeah, because they did. The one was branded in that way.
Oh yeah, I mean I think it was the 2012 Olympics. Everyone was superhumans, and it was. But from that, I mean, people see you as this shining beacon every time it comes around, and then it just goes. I mean, what would you want to get across as to the general public about what it actually takes to get to your level?
You don't become a Paralympian by just going and trying. You don't become an Olympian by just coming. My dad's not going to beat Usain Bolt in 100 meters. They've trained hard and they've got to that level, and we're exactly the same. And I think people still, they're getting to a point where they're starting to see it more as elite sport, which it is elite sport.
It is, yeah.
But there's still quite a long way to go, I think, isn't there? And
I think it's exactly what you just said. You play sport on a weekend, and that's what you want to do. That's where you're happy. But we're still not at a place where we're allowed to recreationally play disabled sport.
Yeah.
You either want to be a Paralympian or why are you bothering? And the thing is, some people, I'm not saying you, but some people don't have that hunger. They just want to stay fit. They just want to be healthy. They just enjoy it. They want to see their friends. And for some reason, there's still this separation between, it's fine for able-bodied people to go to Sunday League and never want to play for some big team, but it's not fine for a disabled person to do exactly the same thing. And I remember I was one of the original Superhumans. I was on that advert, and I remember I was 20 years old. It was my first games, the London 2012 Paralympic Games. What a place to be. And it did. It made you feel like a superhuman. It made you feel, if I could go back to any time in my life, that would be it. It was absolutely
not our wedding day.
The most that aside, but it was just the most incredible 2 weeks of my life. And actually, not even that. An incredible 4 years, because the London legacy, it did last 4 years between the build up to London and then getting to Rio. That magic never stopped. I could have done a different event every day. I could have been on a different TV show or gone to a different award ceremony, whatever it was. Everyone loved the Paralympics. Everyone loved the Paralympians. And I thought being called a superhuman that's amazing, because I've always been the girl that, she won't be able to do that. She can't do that. Whereas suddenly I was the girl that could do anything. I was the girl that was beating the world, and it changed my idea of myself in my own head, I think. So I think it has its own magical place. But then I remember meeting someone after the Paralympic Games in London, and they just said to me, "You've made my life so hard." And I was like, "How have I done that?" And they said, "Because now I can't walk down the street without being called a fake or a cheat. I'm being told that I'm too lazy because I'm not playing sport." And it's and that's when it hit me that, this is amazing for me, because this is what I've chosen to do, but not everyone's able to do this. Not everybody wants to do this, and that's okay.
But what was it like for you to hear? How did you respond in that moment?
Well, I apologised, which I don't think it was personally my fault. Yeah. I was like, "Oh, sorry." But I think it was just a bit of a contrast on where I'd been for a very long time. The whole year of 2012, I'd travelled around the world to qualify for it. I'd got there, I'd competed in front of 80,000 people. I'd met the royal family, I'd met McFly. I'd done all these amazing things, and you think you're untouchable. You kind of forget. You forget that you forgot in that moment that you were a disabled athlete, because we were treated so equally. I do think since then, unfortunately, since Rio, we've definitely declined, which is so frustrating.
What do you think that's about?
Honestly, I feel like there's this kind of triangle effect. So when we get the coverage, it gets eyes on us. It gets people interested in what we're doing. I genuinely believe if the TV covered Sunday League games of wheelchair basketball, people would watch it. People, if you are a sports fan, you love sports. It doesn't matter if it's male or female. It doesn't matter if it's disabled or non-disabled. Whatever it is, if you like sport, you like sport. That's what I think it is. So you need the coverage. But we can't get the coverage because we don't have the sponsorship. They go, well, there's not enough money to pay us to cover you. But the sponsors don't get involved because they go, well, you don't bring in the audiences. But we don't bring in the audiences because they can't see it on TV, so they don't know it's happening.
Vicious circle.
Yeah, we're just constantly going round and round.
There's no one there advertising that it's happening because there's no sponsors behind it. So we're constantly stuck in this cycle of, London 2012 was just money. It was just, there was so much money. And I know we're in a place where there isn't as much money. But
Purple Tuesdays, I think they put on their social media feed recently, there's £247 billion in the disabled spending community. I mean, that's a tremendous amount of money. And I mean, how do we get this message across to advertisers that actually people with disabilities, they have spending power, and we can be idols and we can be role models to these people. Stick your name, stick your logo. Help us pay for this £30,000 chair so we can motivate and inspire the next generation.
I think we're that hidden minority, aren't we? That people don't think about until they have an injury. That then they go, oh my God, I never actually noticed that building wasn't accessible. And I think until you have that situation that you're in, that you can't get into it, then you notice it. So I think that it just needs to be more legislation, I think, around accessibility to be able to get us into places to start with, and then we can start talking. Like, we've been to speak at companies before, and we've arrived and we can't even get in the building. And it's like, no, you've asked me to come and talk about disability sport, and I can't even get in your building. So how can you employ a disabled person to start with? And then, do you know what I mean? It gets the...
Do you share that frustrations with them as well, as honestly as...
We try to, don't we? But
I'm quite open about it. I tell them what I think, but
there's nothing worse than going. There's nothing worse than going to like a hotel and you spend a load of money to go to this hotel, and then you get taken in the back door past the bins, and we try and. I think people think that we're
almost like we don't have that happen to us. I think people think, oh, you're Paralympians, you get everywhere you want. Nah, we still get the back entrance. Yeah. I won't name it, but I go to a big televised event every year, and you walk down the red carpet, and then as a wheelchair user you're taken back around the back of the red carpet and you're taken through the kitchen to get to the ballroom. And every year I'm like, it's not good. It's not good enough.
Sure, you don't want to name it? You can name it if you want.
Yeah, no. I feel like they've got a stronger legal team than I am. It's that discussion every time, isn't it? Of this is not fair. Like, and even in sport, I feel like so much of it is the right people making the right decisions, having the right people at the top. Our World Championships weren't televised this year because the price tag put on it was more than the able-bodied World Championships.
Why?
Precisely. Why? And you know that no one's going to invest in that, so it doesn't get invested in. Like, I am definitely not saying we're not worth as much, but put us on for pennies. I'm not bothered. As long as some kid or someone can put on their telly and see disability sport more than once every 4 years, that is the only way we're going to make a difference. But the only way we can do that is by the people at the top making the right decisions. We've just come back from a World Championships in India. And again, it's about those decisions. We were there and we're pretty able in our chairs, aren't we?
Yeah,
we can get most places. But when you take us to a bus that's wheelchair accessible and it's got, honestly, like a ramp that's like pushing up a mountain, we couldn't independently get on that. And I think, especially as athletes, it's really degrading. You're going on that.
People, it's not just
but you're going on that track to show the world what you're good at. I can go on the track and break a world record, but I can't even get up a ramp. What? That doesn't make sense. Who's making that decision? So I honestly think a big part of it is having the right decision makers in the right rooms, making the right noise, and those right decision makers are disabled people.
Yeah, asking us what we think rather than just
assuming.
Yeah. Don't assume, because when you assume, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, I think we need more disabled people in positions of power who are making those decisions, because only then can change really be made.
That's it. It's about having the right people at the table, because if you've just got a bunch of able-bodied people making decisions, like there's so much that they're not perceiving about what the real need is. So that's why representation, again, is so important. It's and so having these conversations, because there will be people out there that have got no idea about the things that you're talking about, no idea of the challenges that you face. They see you achieving these incredible things, and in the background for so many disabled people is this constant battle with accessibility and representation.
Yeah, and this isn't even about bad-mouthing the people that are in those positions. It's just asking them to ask the right people the right questions. We know that all the good intentions are there, but sometimes an intention isn't enough. We need experience, we need lived experience behind every decision that's made, because that's the only way that difference can can actually come about.
Does this mean we might see politics in your future?
Oh no, look, right. I am not. I don't think I'm political at all. Nathan loves politics.
I'm very political.
I get very frustrated by it. I think because I have so many opinions, but
you're passionate about it, and you've got so much experience. And I think with your platform, you to be able to you can attack. Both of you can get the attention of the people who are at the top, or become those people who can then influence decisions.
And I think we're not talking about pulling those people down.
No.
About pushing disabled people up. It's not about pulling someone down a peg or two to push us up. It's about equaling it out, isn't it? And actually, we've got a very long way until we're anywhere near that kind of. Is it 1 in 6 people in the UK are disabled, and there's 3 members of Parliament with a disability, and there's like 700 MPs. So it just shows.
Only Nathan will be able to give you the stats.
But it just shows, doesn't it? The diversity of it, disability-wise, is just nowhere near it. So how are they making decisions about us every single day if they have no experience?
And I think again, it's part of that sphere that we were talking about. As there's so many things that we feel, even though we are just athletes, like genuinely we just like pushing in circles. That's all we're good at.
Really fast.
Don't
you do it really quickly.
Be, but I don't know about me.
All right, what are you good at?
I don't know. Don't put that on.
But that's what we're known for. It's not. It's not that groundbreaking.
Yeah.
It's not that amazing. We're not changing the world. But you almost feel this. But you feel this responsibility that we are one part of a minority that sometimes maybe get listened to. And you feel like there's so much to talk about. There's so many different stories that you need to tell and wake people up to. You know, I think it was 2015. I was on 5 News live, and they were discussing with me the accessibility of London. So I called out the Mayor of London at the time, Boris Johnson, and invited him to spend a day in a wheelchair with me going around London on the tube system.
He was advertising,
because
wasn't
he was advertising that it was the most accessible system in the world, and I was arguing,
it's not.
It's really not.
It's
really not.
No way.
Mind the gap, indeed. Yeah.
He declined my live invite within 30 seconds. I got a written reply. I said it live on the news. I got a written reply in 30 seconds that he declined it. He didn't have time. If you don't have time, you're not willing to make, and it's so you have to take those opportunities to open your mouth, and it's really scary. Like in the world of X and everywhere where everyone's got something they've got to say, you get shot down really quick. You've got to be brave. You've got to use it and think, like we're both pretty good at doing that, but it's another thing that you've kind of got to add to your bow.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's striking that happy medium, isn't it, between advocating for yourself but not always sounding like you're moaning. And I think that's what we disabled people struggle with, because everyone's like, get back in your box again, come on, stop moaning. But actually, if it was an able-bodied person having that issue, it would be sorted. They don't have that issue, do they? Because they don't need to. So it's just that thing, isn't it, of trying to just make life better. And just how do we do that?
If you were going in to politics with a manifesto for change, what would be on it?
Oh, that's a big question.
That is a very big question, yeah.
My big one would make, I'd do more to make school PE more accessible. That would be my big one. I think I still visit schools now. I left school, I'm 33, so I left school like 18 years ago. And there are still kids now who are going to schools who tell me that they are not allowed to do PE because they have a disability. What? That's so easy to fix. But then we're both licensed athletics coaches. I totally understand it, because in the athletics coach course, disability athletics is not covered at all. So we have a license to coach wheelchair racing that we didn't actually have to prove at any single point that we knew anything about wheelchair racing. So of course, if a licensed coach isn't doing that, a PE teacher hasn't got time to do that. So yeah, for me, that would be a massive one for me, because it would tackle so much. Full stop. The unfitness of every child, the obesity crisis, mental health, communication problems. It would tackle so much. Sport does a lot.
I think it's a hard one, isn't it? Saying, I'd like to say that I'd want a disabled person as the disability minister, but actually I want the right person for the job, not just because they have a disability. I want the right person for that job. So I'd like to try and advocate for more disabled people to have opportunity to access politics, But if they're not the right person for that job, I don't want them
Not
in
just
that
a
job.
tick box.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a tick box. I don't want quotas and that kind of thing. Because
It's not just a photo opportunity, is it?
yeah, what's the point in having it if they're not going to be the right person? So I think it's about advocating so that there's the opportunity to do it. We should have the opportunity to do everything, not the right. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not a God-given right to be, like we say, like a Paralympian. You don't have to be a Paralympian, do you? There's not a God-given right that you be a Paralympian. You work for it and you work hard to get to that point. But I think the opportunity to get there is what's lacking at the moment. So the opportunity to do everything and access politics and school sport and just a lot of life is segregated, isn't it, for disabled people? So just how to make that better.
I mean, it's been said many times. It's often not the disability that disables someone; it's their environment, and being able to access that can open so many doors and opportunities. These frustrations. Tell us, what is the biggest one, though?
I think we find it hard, don't we? Actually, trying to like book a holiday, for example. You know, trying to find somewhere that's accessible, knowing what and getting the right information, because we see like disability travellers and people that go away and leave reviews and say, oh, it was the most accessible place I've ever been to. But actually, is it the most, because was it accessible for their specific needs? So then it takes us about 6 weeks to book a holiday because we're just trying to find the right place, aren't we?
We're so worried that we'll get there and not be able to get in the bathroom, or, you know, not be able to... We had it once, didn't we? We were driving back through France and we booked, and I am very... Like, I will scour a website and look at their accessibility information. And this hotel was listed as has lift access, has level access at the front door, has a wheelchair accessible room, booked that. Perfect. Got there. Has parking. Got there. It didn't have parking. Right, okay. Got there. It had a step to the front door. No problem. Like, we can manage that. Got inside. And the lady at the hotel reception just looked at us and went, oh, how are you going to get to your room? It's stairs. And I was like, no. On your website it says lift access to all rooms. And she was like, oh yeah, no. But and she was so unfazed. She was just like, oh, we have this all the time. And she literally was just like, my mate across the street can put you in her hotel instead. And I was like, I booked this hotel. Yeah. And it was a chain hotel. Like, it wasn't, we mostly book chains because we feel like that's safe, but normally it costs a little bit more. So yeah, it's with things like that. It's information. It's the lack of care around what's put out there, like thinking, I'll just tick lift, we don't have one, but it doesn't matter. It matters so much.
Not realising the impact of the consequence.
It matters so much, and I think for me that's a massive thing around accessibility. When you're not accessible, or when you put down false information, you're not just affecting us or you. You're affecting a parent with a pushchair, you're affecting an elderly person, you're affecting someone who's had an illness or an injury. Every single person needs access at some point in their lives. Every single person. And people don't see it. They don't see pushchair access as the same as what we need, but it's exactly the same. It makes everybody's lives easier. Why are we not just naturally going,
yeah, exactly.
This makes sense, let's put a ramp there instead of 10 tiny little steps.
It's not hurting anybody, is it?
Yeah, exactly. And it helps everyone. So
I started searching for pram-friendly when I'm looking for places to go, because that became a bigger demographic people were accommodating rather than wheelchair users. So I was like, brilliant.
But it's just wild, isn't it? It's just wild. So yeah, I think access like that, and like you say, just public transport access is a massive frustration.
We've been turned away from buses before because there's two of us.
Can't get on a bus because there's two of us. We've got like a deal with our local train station that we can fit in one wheelchair space. We don't have to sit in separate carriages. So
they used to make us sit so if we were going to London, one of us would have to sit at the front and one of us would have to sit at the back, and we weren't allowed to sit together. But we're only tiny, so we both fit in one wheelchair base, and now they'll put us together.
We've had it once, didn't we? We were flying back from Switzerland, a competition in Switzerland. The whole team, so you're looking at 20 to 30 wheelchair users with like 4 members of staff. And we were told that a wheelchair user couldn't board the plane without an able-bodied carer with them. So only 4 out of 30 wheelchair users could get on the plane. And we were all like, no. So we ended up asking general members of public on this flight if they would be our carer for the flight.
But the worst bit was, so that's what the airline said had to happen. So they went down the plane and asked, would it be okay if a person in a wheelchair was to sit next to you?
It's disgusting. It's It's
We talk about
But I think-
dehumanising you.
But I think, they're those things, and they happen so often. It just doesn't faze you. You just go, oh well, it's just one of them, innit? Like we just want to fly with them.
Just want to get home. Let's just do
like
it.
you
It's
just
still not right, is
but
it?
you step back and you actually go, that's not okay. That is not okay. Because actually some people on that flight went, oh no.
they got moved so they didn't have to sit next to us.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
But that's opening up this whole world of abuse, really, realistically for us. Like, no, like, we're okay. We're not asking. We don't need you to carry us around the plane. We're just trying to get on the plane like everybody else. We're trying to get on the train like everybody else. It's
just trying to live our lives.
Yeah, it's been given that same level of respect that we have a life to live too.
But
Get to work, you know.
I feel you're. I've travelled a lot with sports and just generally, and sometimes I'll just get on with it. Yeah, just do it. I think they do need calling out. I think, in those situations, if you do have a platform, even just to get it out there and put it out so it's searchable, if an airline's doing that, they should be called out. If they're not saying, unless it's for some health and safety or fire regulations, we know we can't sit next to the emergency exits because we're fire hazards, but they should be called out. And we should take those opportunities to say, no, this is wrong. You can't treat us this way. We are not second-class citizens.
But unfortunately, then you fall back into that trap of the media only listen to certain voices. They only listen. So if Nathan and I both put something on social media about the same thing, they would put Hannah Cockroft before they would put Nathan Maguire. And then you get, oh, she's having a moan again. Oh, it's her again. So it just gets lost. We do need to call it out, absolutely, but
You have to pick your battles.
yeah, you kind of have to pick which ones are the most important ones. And when it's something that's happening every day, every week, what do? Complain every day? Nothing changes. Or they change it for that one person. Like, an airline once charged us to put our wheelchairs on the flight. So I tweeted a complaint, and it was a lot of money. There were 3 of us.
There was 3 of us. They wanted £1,000 each. We were flying to Australia, and they said that our wheelchairs needed to be paid for.
Were extra
Medical
luggage.
equipment.
Yeah, exactly.
Precisely, but they said that they weren't part of the EU, so they didn't have to abide by that rule. So I tweeted, this happened at Manchester Airport, I'm disgusted. By the time we landed in Australia, I had a written report from the airline, a written apology from the airline. It had hit the Manchester Evening News. I had the money back in my bank account, and I had I genuinely think with the airline there's a note on my file now, because every time we fly with
Warning.
them, they're like privately escort me through the airport, and I'm like, you're right there.
But see, there's so many people that don't have the platform.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but that changes it for me. But I'm not just bothered about me.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be
care about
that,
everybody
Should
else.
set a
that we
precedent
are
for
those
everybody else.
superhumans. It should be, no, this can't happen for anybody. This is not okay. And it is. It's constantly that argument of, I guess, people think Paralympians see themselves as a bit better than everyone else. Absolutely not. We are trying to make a
We're the
difference
same
for
as everybody
everyone.
else, yeah.
It just never works that way, does it? It just never works out.
So if you could pass on a message to the people listening, can't guarantee it's going to be the Mayor of London, but we will call him out. What is your message then? Your overall message to everyone who's listening right now, from both individually and from both of you?
I think so many people think that getting a spinal cord injury is the end of your life, but actually I think it's the start of a new life, a different life. And for me, I can't imagine my life any different. I think that within that, you have to take opportunities that are given to you, and if they're not given, you have to go and find them. But with that, your life is going to be so much better. You'll almost have a better outlook on life because you have a disability, I think. And I think for me, it's just, go out there and find your new you, I think, is the most important thing for me.
Love that.
I think mine would be use your voice. Use your voice in everywhere that you can. Everyone has a right to say what they're thinking, what they need, what they deserve. So use it to speak that out in the universe. Don't be afraid, and it is scary. But use it to say, I want this opportunity, whether it is in sport, I want to try this. And normally in sport, if you say it enough times, you meet the right person who can give you that opportunity, who can open that door and let you play that sport. But if it's just in life, you want access, make it known, talk to people, say this is not good enough, report it. Don't leave it to the voices that you think can be heard. Your voice is just as relevant and just as important as everybody else's. So don't ever believe that it's not, because we can make a difference individually, but we are so much stronger all together. So use your voice.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of I Didn't Plan on This. If so, please like, comment and share.
If you or someone you know is living with a spinal cord injury and they need support, the Spinal Injuries Association is here for you. Our vision is a fulfilled life for everyone living with spinal cord injury. If you'd like to support us or find out more about the vital work that we do across the UK, please visit our website at spinal.co.uk.